All right, everybody. Welcome. It's a pretty nice looking background, isn't it? Dang. All right, just jumping on here at noon on Saturday. I'm going to give it a couple minutes here. I'm out of town. I'm at this incredible bed and breakfast out in Groveland, California. Hey, Renato, how are you? All right. All right, y'all, let me give it about 30 seconds. Hope y'all are doing great wherever you are. Renato, what's the weather going on? What's the weather like in Vegas today, Renato? All right, y'all. It's hot. Hey, I could have told you that, man. All right, y'all. Welcome this morning. Welcome. I'm going to get started here in a sec. And I just want to welcome you to this morning's edition of Inside Amyloidosis. So we're broadcasting live here on Facebook on my amyloidosis page. We're also broadcasting live on YouTube. So obviously on YouTube, I got the side angle going, so I'm doing the best I can here. So I'm out of town today. This is a really interesting deal. I'm in Groveland, California, which is about 30 miles from Yosemite. So my wife, Jennifer, wanted to get out of town this weekend. She's been cooped up with the coronavirus, and she's got a good friend of hers named Tammy who owns a bed and breakfast out here in Groveland. So nobody's traveling and nobody's staying. So her rooms are open. So they said, hey, she said, hey, you guys want to come out and hang out for a couple of days? So we did. So we flew we flew from Vegas to Stockton, California, and then we drove over here. And so it's a really, really small town. I mean, like, oh man, I don't even know, but there's a few bed and breakfasts, but it's about 30 miles from Yosemite. So typically it's really, really busy because people are heading up that way, but not so much right now. But anyway, so I'm in one of the guest rooms here. We have the whole place to ourselves, but one of the guest rooms, and they got this nice mural in the back here. So anyway, that's where I am today, and I'm excited about being here. So anyway, thanks for joining. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to redirect your thoughts when things are not going well. So all of you that are on here that have amyloidosis, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because there's so many times that you don't feel great and you're going in for a procedure and you're sick or you're tired or you're just beat up and you got to do it again. I mean, I remember I felt like after I was doing this Cyborg D, which all of you know is the Velcade injection into your stomach, along with the pills you take and then the dexamethasone, I would go do it. And I was also doing a trial at the time, this NEOD trial. And so it would be 90 minutes of chemotherapy or 90 minutes of IV of synthetic antibodies in my body. When I was finished with that like 3-hour procedure, I was just beat up and I felt like I was just inflamed. And it took me like 2 or 3 days to feel like I was getting back to normal. And then boom, I had to take off again and do it again. So it just gets so tiring. So those of you that are just joining, haven't been here before, my name is Dan Lear, and I got diagnosed with cardiac amyloidosis in 2017, and I started chemotherapy right away. I had struggled for a couple of years I was sick prior to starting to look around. I was just feeling weak and weird, but then I literally was going to doctors in Las Vegas and in Los Angeles for 2 straight years. Didn't get an answer, didn't get a diagnosis like many of you. And then it was literally on my last leg. Like, you know, I tell people all the time, I can understand why people just give up because it gets so difficult. And, oh, hey, Deanne, what's up, Jimmy? What's up, James? Good to see you, bro. So you just get tired and you just want to give up. So I can see why people do that. So I went to the Mayo Clinic after 2 years and I got diagnosed with cardiac amyloidosis, and I started chemotherapy. I was on Cyborg D for, I don't remember the timeline, but I was on Cyborg D, and then I went to Revlimid, and that put my heart into AFib, and I was just really sick on that one. That did not work at all. Then I went to this other drug called carfilzomib, which is an IV drug. And so I was on 3 types of chemotherapy for about 2 years, and then I'm on this drug now called Venclexta, which is kind of like a maintenance drug. It's for lymphomic leukemia, but it works really well for me. So that's who I am, and my goal here is just to share some ideas that I did to help me get through these challenges, because it's like I said, it's challenging especially when things aren't going well. Like I remember me specifically, I had come off Velcade and onto Revlimid, and Revlimid was a big deal. It's a sister to one of those drugs that, when the women were taking it, all these babies were coming out deformed. So it's a really, really powerful drug. And so I had to sign these papers, and people were walking me through these steps. I remember I was just finishing up with an event in Chicago, and I was with my wife on the phone in this a Uber car taking us to the airport, and this woman was telling me all about it. And so I finally took the play volleyball, and I was just so sick I could barely walk. I was shivering, I was white, and you just want to give up. And there were some things that I did to help me redirect my thoughts. So I'm going to share those with you today. So those of you that came on last week, we were finishing up about our belief systems, and we talked about how to construct a powerful belief system. And I had out the flip chart and all that good stuff. So we did that, and hopefully you integrated that into some of the things you're doing. And really, because your mindset, I think, is 90% of it. I was blessed to have a really strong mindset, and of course, the medicine helps, but the mindset and the medicine is a good mix. So let's talk about what I call how to redirect your thoughts when things aren't going well. And before I continue, I thought I'd introduce you something today that I call a power statement. And a power statement is something I do every day, and I do it all the time, and I would do it especially when things aren't going well, because your brain works. When you're not talking to somebody, if you're not interacting with somebody in a conversation, or you're watching a movie, or you're engaged in reading, your mind is wandering. And oftentimes your mind is wandering and it's asking questions. And we're going to talk about that in a minute, but it's asking questions, or it's talking to you, and oftentimes it's not saying positive things. So what's called a power statement is just like kind of a mantra. And a mantra is something you say to yourself that is positive and really get your brain redirected in this area to get rid of your other thoughts. And here's my power statement. I'm just going to say it for you. And this is what I say to myself all the time. It goes like this. Today is a new day and a new life. I am stronger, wiser, and live in absolute total certainty. Any illusion of fear or self-doubt is crushed by my incredible courage within. I'm going to say that again. Today is a new day and a new life. I am stronger, wiser, and live in absolute total certainty. Any illusion of fear or self-doubt is crushed by my incredible courage within. Now, that's what I call a power statement. And if you want to take that and transcribe it and write it down and do it, that's fine. Or you can make your own up. But that's something that I've said to myself thousands and thousands of times over the last 10, 15, 20 years. So, if I'm laying in bed and I'm not feeling good sometimes, and rather than these negative thoughts, that comes into my head. Today is a new day and a new life. I'm stronger, wiser, and live in absolute total certainty. Any illusion of fear or self-doubt is crushed by my incredible courage within. And so that allows you to think about where you're going versus the pain I'm in right now, or how sick I feel. And it's just some kind of a positive type of reframe and get your mind off of negative thoughts. And so that's something I do all the time, and I haven't really shared that with you before. Hey, Ashley, how are you today? So what I want to talk about today, also some good news. So many of you who have followed me or know or see some of my posts, I was scheduled to get a pacemaker about a month ago, and then we had some insurance issues. So we finally got everything moved up to Rochester, Minnesota, and New York. In Rochester, Minnesota, Mayo. And so that's going to be happening on June 18th, which is just a couple weeks from now. So I'm going to get this pacemaker, and I'm excited about it. But if I told you I wasn't scared, I'd be lying. So even though most people will tell you, oh, it's just a simple thing, I know that. And I know it's a simple thing. But anytime you're messing with the heart, it's kind of scary, because I'm functional right now. I'm doing just fine, but my heart's weak. I've got low output. It would probably make me feel better. It might help my stomach and some of the swelling that I have. I'm not sure, but I'm going to go through with it. but I'm a little bit scared about it. I'll tell you the truth, I am. So I'm going to share with you the strategy that I can help you, or that I'll be using when I go in for the surgery. So here's what I'm going to talk about today: is how to transform or redirect your thoughts when things aren't going so well. So here's the way your brain works. When things aren't going well for you, you typically are in a state of trying to find solutions. But the way you've been trained to it is you're asking yourself why. Like, for instance, oh, why do I feel like crap today? Or why does this Dex make me so crazy? Or why does this Velcade do this to me? Whatever your symptoms would be. I know that when I was taking the injections of Velcade in my abdomen, I just had this incredible pain, this burning that would go in my abdomen. But it wasn't too much bad after that. But then, of course, it started affecting my neuropathy. But the point of the matter is, what I'm getting at is other people have other side effects. They're nauseous, or they're sick, or they're vomiting. And so that's, who wants to go get your treatment when that's what's going to happen? And so when your mind is in that place, like, for instance, why am I feeling like crap? Or why do I have to go get this treatment today? Or why can't I ever feel good? And so here's how your brain works. And this is what I want to teach you, how to redirect your thoughts, because it's totally normal to go in that place about why can't I feel better? Or why am I feeling like crap right now? Totally normal. But what happens is when you ask yourself that question, your brain answers it, and it makes you feel like crap. So, and I've taught this thousands of times before, but I'll get away from the amyloidosis and I'll go into something just normal in life, and then we'll go back to amyloidosis. So, people that have weight problems, I think we talked about this, they're always asking themselves, why can't I ever lose any weight? And when you say things like, why can't I ever lose any weight? Your brain answers the question, and it says, oh, geez, because you never work out, you eat like crap, and you lay on the couch, and you drink too much. So now you feel worse than you did before, and then you go to the refrigerator and have some ice cream and some whatever else you have. So it makes matters worse. So when you ask yourself a negative question, you get a negative answer. So when you say, why can't I ever lose any weight? You get an answer that supports that question. So if I were coaching that person on how to redirect their thoughts, my coaching would be, ask a better question, you're going to get a better answer. Ask a specific question, you're going to get a specific answer. So for instance, how can I lose weight? That would be a great question. But even a better question would be, how can I lose weight and actually enjoy it? So then you're asking those questions that redirect your thoughts to, well, I can bring my lunch to work, and then I can hang out with people who support my lifestyle. Oh, I can walk before I go to work on Tuesday and Thursday. Oh, I could walk on Saturday and take the dog to the park with the kids. And so because you ask yourself a different question, you get a different answer, right? So the power of your questions. So now back to the amyloidosis. So you're going in for your treatment, or, like I said, some people get nauseous, some people vomit, some people throw up. I mean, there's all types of feelings. Some people, get cold and weak. And so when you're asking yourself questions like, oh man, why do I have to go in for therapy today? Well, your brain's going to answer that question. And it's probably going to be something that's not proactive and not enriching and not empowering. Why do I have to go in for therapy today? Well, because you're sick, you feel like crap, and they say you're going to die, and you have amyloidosis. Well, that doesn't make me feel better, right? So I want to redirect my thoughts by asking a different question. And so I want to say something like, so the science behind it is changing your why questions to a how or a what question. So, for instance, why does this Cyborg D make me feel like crap? Or why does this Cyborg D make me nauseous or want to vomit? Why does this Cyborg D make me dizzy, right? So those are questions that don't lead you anywhere. So the questions you want to ask is, for instance, how can I prepare myself that so when I do the Cyborg D, I have a better reaction? What can I do differently so that when I take the Cyborg D this time, that my body will respond in a positive way? Now, that question was an interesting question because I ask myself, what can I do instead of why do I feel like crap when I take the Cyborg D, right? No, there's nothing good about that question. If I redirect my thoughts with a how question or a what question, what can I do to better prepare my body for the Cyborg D so I have a better response? Well, I could do some meditation before I go in for treatment so I feel much more relaxed. I could do some calming exercises and make sure that I'm just totally balanced when I go in there. You know what? I could do some visualization. I could see myself doing the Cyborg D and seeing myself walking out of the treatment room feeling great and feeling strong. So now all of a sudden you've got better answers to your question that you asked. You feel better, you're more empowered, and you feel great. So again, the questions you ask determine your thought process, which determines how you feel, right? So instead of saying, why does this Cyborg D make me feel like crap? Maybe, how can I better prepare my body so that when I get the Cyborg D, I feel better? Well, I could do some hypnosis. I could do some meditation. I could listen to some calming music. I could do some visualization. So again, you're coming up with answers to better support you during this time of challenge, right? Why do I feel like crap all the time? Why do I feel like crap right now? I mean, I remember I used to get so frustrated that every day I woke up and I felt like I just went through a football game. Looked like I just played a full hockey game. My whole body was sore. And so instead of saying like, you know, why am I so tired and why am I so sore? I would ask myself, how can I change the way I feel right now? What can I do to change the way my body feels? And so when I ask myself, what can I do to change the way I feel? I can get answers to that. You know, I could do some light stretching. I could do some twisting. I could just move my body a little bit. I could do something different with my body, because oftentimes the reason you're tired so much is because you're stationary in one position. So just getting up to move, even though it's counterintuitive, it helps you feel better. So the more you move, sometimes the better you feel, but you're sitting so long, you're so tired and achy, you don't want to do it. So it's kind of it's a negative vibe there. So let's see. Why do I feel so tired? You know, why am I always so tired after treatment? How about this one? What can I do to give myself more energy? That's a great question, because oftentimes there's things that we do we're not thinking about. You know, I could sure eat better foods. I could cut down on my sugars. You know what? I could do some stretching, or I could do some yoga, right? So now you're asking, what can I do to get more energy? Or how can I move my body to get more energy? What can I do to get more energy? You're getting answers in your brain that are going to allow you to get to where you want to go. So these are simple things you can do to redirect your thought. But when you're going through amyloidosis and you're getting treatments or you're getting numbers that aren't good, it's easy to fall into this trap where you're going downhill emotionally. So I remember feeling frustrated about, you know, I feel like I'm doing great. I'd go in and get my treatments and my NT-proBNP numbers were higher and my light chain numbers were higher and I was doing everything right. You can say, geez, why is this happening? Why is this happening to me? Well, because you have a deadly disease, because the stuff's not working, and all of a sudden you don't feel better about that, right? So you can ask yourself, you know, how can I make sure next month is better than this month? What can I do differently? And sometimes you just got to talk it out and say, well, you know, I did everything right. So just because it went up 1 month doesn't mean it's going to continue. It's just a small tick. Maybe it's going to start going down the next month or the next month. So part of it is just understanding that things just happen. Because as you know, if you're going through this journey, the body's different and it responds to everybody different. So it might do well for you. One drug might work well for you, but it might not work for anybody else. So part of the psychology. The last thing I'm going to talk to you about how to redirect your thoughts is just simple asking yourself if you knew, or if I knew. So again, you know, why am I feeling so crappy today? Why do I feel so tired all the time? Or Why can't I get any energy? Those are bad questions, because again, when you ask yourself why, you're going to get the answers. The answers come from your brain, and they search by the questions that you ask. So why am I feeling so bad today? Boom, you get answers. Well, because you have amyloidosis. Well, because you had your third treatment. Because that's the way your body feels. Because you're going to feel like this forever. It doesn't make you feel better. So here's the next thing I want to write this down. The thing is, the question is, if I knew. Okay, if I knew ... Just write down, if I knew ... So here's how I use this language pattern. If I knew I would start feeling better in the next 10 minutes, what would I do right now? Great. So imagine you're feeling like crap, you're feeling tired, you're feeling fatigued, and you ask yourself, if I knew I was going to start feeling better in the next 10 minutes, what would I do with my body right now? Oh, well, I would get up and I would move. I would start to walk. I would get up and stretch. What would I say to myself if I knew I was going to start feeling better right now? Oh, I would feel like encourage myself. A lot of things are happening. We have negative self-talk. How about this one? If I knew that eating healthy would affect how I feel, would I do it? Yes or no? Yes. So remember, if I knew by getting more sleep every night, I would heal better, would I do it? Yes or no? If I knew that I would start feeling better in the next 2 hours, would it make me feel better right now? Yes or no? Yes. It would take some of the stress away. If I knew my body was going to respond, if you knew, so you're feeling like crap, you just had your treatment, and then you're going to ask yourself, if I knew my body would start to respond and get some equilibrium in the next 2 hours, would it help me relax right now? Probably so. What could I do right now to help me relax? Maybe I could get a cup of tea. So remember, the question you ask yourself are going to help you get to where you want to go. So again, when you're dealing through this journey of amyloidosis, there's so many ups and downs that you have to have tools to help you psychologically through, because you're going to be up 1 month or up 1 day and down the next, and up 1 week and down the next. And so if you're letting your mind be driven by how you feel, then you have two things going down, because your mind and your body are connected. It's a cybernetic loop. And so sometimes if your body's not feeling good, it pulls your mind down. So you got to pull your body up with some of this mental strategies I'm teaching you. So these are tools you can use. These are tools you've never been taught. So if you implement these into your daily game plan, it'll help you through the process. I know for me, just the daily tiredness was one of my biggest challenges. And when I first started, even before I got diagnosed, I think I was working full time and I was doing webinars for people. I could barely talk. I don't know if you had this challenge, but I did. I had a lot of challenges in my throat. I would speak like this. It would be like I was an old man with smoking for 10 years, literally. And so I could not get any volume on my voice. And I'd be attempting to do these webinars for companies, and I would, I'd have to make excuses like, I'm so sorry, I'm just not feeling well, because they didn't want to know that I had this deadly disease. And at that time, I didn't even know if I knew or not what was going on. But again, just working your way through it. If I knew I was going to start feeling better, how would I start this phone call? And so if I knew that I had a phone call in 30 minutes, what would I do to calm my voice? Oh, I could drink some tea. So the question is asking yourself empowering questions. So quick review. We talked about how to redirect your thoughts when things aren't going well. I talked about my power statement this morning that I say to myself all the time. Today's a new day and a new life. I'm stronger, wiser, and of an absolute total certainty. Any illusion of fear or self-doubt is crushed by my incredible courage within. Then I talked about the questions that people ask. Most people are asking negative questions like, why do I feel like crap today? Or why do I have to go in for another treatment, right? So how you want to do that is just want to redirect by asking why questions. You want to turn those why questions into how questions. How can I change the way I feel right now? What can I do to change the way I feel? If you ask yourself, how can I change the way I feel? You're going to get answers. I could take a little walk. I could have a cup of tea. I could listen to some meditation. Those are some answers that are empowering. Why do I, why do I always get so nervous before I go in for my treatment? How can I prepare myself before I go in for my treatment? What can I do to feel more relaxed before I go in for my next treatment? Those are good, empowering questions that give you the answers you need to redirect your thoughts to get yourself where you want to go. Oh, geez, why do I feel so tired? Why am I always feel like I'm so tired? Those aren't good questions. They don't lead you anywhere. Better questions are, what can I do to give myself more energy? Oh, well, maybe I could eat some more fruits and vegetables this morning. I could take a little walk. Maybe I could have some tea or some fresh fruit. Take some deep breaths, work on my breathing, do some visualization, right? How can I get, right? What can I do to get more energy? And how can I get more energy, right? So how can I get more energy? Same kind of answers. I can have some fresh fruit in the morning. I can have some fresh tea. I can do some visualization. I can do some meditation. I can use my power statement. I can take a little walk. Those are things that can give me more energy. So when you're asking yourself, why can't I get any energy? You're going to get bad answers. When you're going through the chemotherapy and you're going through this treatment, that doesn't help you. It sends you down the wrong track. So again, redirecting your thoughts when things aren't going well can help you during the amyloidosis journey. And quite frankly, these are good if you don't have amyloidosis. And then the last thing I talked about this morning is the language pattern, if I knew. So if I knew I was going to start feeling better, would it change the way I felt? Yes or no, right? Same thing if you're in business or in life. You got some problems going on in your life, asking yourself this question. If I knew during the next week everything was going to level out and everything was going to be solved, how would I feel right now? Oh, I'd feel good. Take a deep breath. Right. So if I knew that I was going to start feeling better just 12 hours after my treatment, how relaxed would I be right now? Or if I knew the treatment was going to go smooth and a Cyborg D wasn't going to hurt, how relaxed would I be right now? How good would I feel? That's great. So you're just preparing yourself and you're asking yourself different questions to get yourself more prepared for your treatment or whatever your issues are. All right, y'all, great job today. Thanks for joining in. Any questions or comments before we call it a day? And those of you who joined late, I was just saying I was broadcasting from California today. I'm in this bed and breakfast in Groveland, California, which is about 40 minutes from Yosemite. And Yosemite's closed, so nobody's here. So Jennifer's friend owns it. She invited us up to hang out here. So here's where we are. And the other piece of good news was I got some dates on my pacemaker. So I'm gonna get my pacemaker in on June 18th of this month. So I guess not this, you know what I mean, couple weeks. So I'm excited about that. So send me out some good vibes. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. Have a great day. And I just got the news that SpaceX just took off and had a successful launch, as far as I know. So that's good news. I'm excited about that. All right, y'all. Have a great day. See you.